Good morning, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. Today is Sunday, the 16th of February, and the moon is in Libra. Normally, I do this outside, but it's a really crappy day. So you get me in the house. The moon's in Libra, and when the moon's in Libra, we really do try to find the common ground. We try to seek compromise. We listen to each other, and yet when we look at what's going on in the larger worlds, in the larger scheme, it seems as if there's no compromise. It's my way or the highway energy out there, and of course I live in the United States, so it might be less of an issue in other places, but here with Felon 47 in charge, um, the unfairness of what's going on is just so in our face that it makes for a sense of futility when it comes to seeking that out. And so I know a lot of people who watch me and come to me in the morning to see what the stars are saying. There is space for that. There's space for compromise. There's space for listening. But I think that it is a space where we live here in the lower echelons, I guess, of power. And so our power lies in our ability to talk to each other, to listen to each other, to disagree or agree to disagree. However, many of us, including myself, we hear people say things and we automatically shut them down because we make the discernment that they're not willing to listen. They're not, so it's an issue. Let's just call it an issue. Today, the moon makes a trine to Jupiter. That's early morning. There's a nice flow of energy for that. That helps to bring out information. But Jupiter in Gemini can be propaganda as well. So it doesn't, a lot of information doesn't necessarily mean correct information, true information. We do have a sesquiquadrate between the sun and the moon today. This is part of the lunation cycle, where we're trying to put out our ideas, our perspective out into the world. And the world is judging as to whether our perspective is viable or not, or what parts of our perspective are viable. And I think that we're seeing that as the new administration sort of reaches out to the world and gives them their view on things. Of course, not our view on things, not my view on things, but on their view on things. And we can see that there's a eroding of a sense of authority with that. We don't seem to be, we certainly don't have the moral authority. Now, the United States having the moral authority has been a little bit of a question even before this, but now it's pretty evident that there is no moral authority when it comes to the leaders of this country. We have the moon make a square to Mars that makes for irritating sort of wanting to move forward. Of course, Mars is retrograde in Cancer, so it's a very emotional time. People feel very frustrated. I know I personally don't feel like I'm being represented. Not so much by my local people, my senators and my House representatives. I do, but I live in a blue state, so that's helpful for me to feel like I'm not completely under the thumb of something I don't want to have anything to do with. Unfortunately, not all of us are in that situation. And then we also have the moon make an opposition to Chiron. Oppositions bring awareness. The moon in Libra wants us to see things in a fair way. And Chiron in Aries is the wound of the bully. And this week on the 18th, we have the last exact Chiron return for this series of Chiron returns. It happens every 52 years. The last time we had Chiron return was in the 70s, right around the time of the end of the Vietnam War. And now here we are standing, looking at a new world. In a way, the old world order is going down, and a new world order is coming up. And from my perspective and my vantage, it doesn't look like the United States is going to be a leader in any kind of new order, which is sad in a way. But maybe we really do need to understand who we are and come to terms with the part of our country who feels like we have the right to push people around. Now we're getting pushed around, and it's a hard lesson. Normally, I like to give you a rosy perspective, but this morning I don't have one. And it's possible that it's these aspects. So if you're feeling the things I'm feeling, if you're feeling like there's a certain feeling of doom, I think, that pervades at least me this morning, probably shouldn't have turned the television on quite so early. But we can overcome this. We can come together as a people.